The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. There was a feast of the Jews, and Jesus went up to Jerusalem. Now, there is in Jerusalem at the sheep gates a pool, called in Hebrew Bethsaida, with 5 porticos. In these lay a large number of ill, blind, lame, and crippled. One man was there who had been ill for 38 years. When Jesus saw him lying there and knew that he had been ill for a long time, he said to him, "Do you want to get well?" The sick man answered him, "Sir, I have no one to put me into the pool when the water is stirred up. While I am on my way, someone else gets down there before me." Jesus said to him, "Rise, take up your mat and walk." Immediately the man became well and took up his mat and walked. Now, that day was a Sabbath. So the Jews said to the man who was cured, "It is the Sabbath, and it is not lawful for you to carry your mat." He answered them, "The man who made me well told me, 'Take up your mat and walk.'" They asked him, "Who is this man who told you, 'Take it up and walk'?" The man who was healed did not know who it was, for Jesus had slipped away, since there was a crowd there. After this, Jesus found him in the temple area and said to him, "Look, you are well. Do not sin anymore, so that nothing worse may happen to you." The man went and told the Jews that Jesus was the one who had made him well. Therefore, the Jews began to persecute Jesus because he did this on a Sabbath. The Gospel of the Lord. It won't come as a surprise to any of us, but we know life throws some doozies at us, doesn't it? Life is hard, knocks the wind out of us. But notice the logic and the temptation that the evil one will always use. And then this is nothing new in the spiritual life. It harkens all the way back to Adam and Eve. When problems happen to us, especially tragedies, the evil one will whisper into our ears, "See, I told you, God has abandoned you. God is not there." See, it's always a logic. It always happens. And notice this, again, whenever problems happen, we always ask, "Jesus, where are you?" Again, it's a slithering doubt of the serpent from the very, very beginning. He always makes us doubt the goodness of our Father. Always. You can notice that voice, reflect upon it. Because in Ezekiel today, Ezekiel was a prophet active 6 centuries before the coming of Jesus, around 597 BC. And what was happening in Jerusalem was that they've been conquered. Ezekiel has prophesied that one day the temple, remember, the temple is the most sacred place to the Jewish people. And he prophesied that one day all of this would be destroyed. Again, it's hard to convey how devastating that would have been to a Jewish person, because for the Jewish mentality and spiritual life, the temple was everything. Their entire life revolved around the temple. And Ezekiel said all of this will be destroyed. And so he's active at the time period, what's known as the Babylonian exile, when the Jewish people were in a foreign country, their temple destroyed, everything gone. But he said, one day, the temple will be restored. And this is where now all this mystical language that we heard in the first reading, the angel brought Ezekiel, and I'm quoting now, enter into the temple of the Lord, water flowing out from beneath the threshold of the temple toward the east, the facade of the temple toward the east. Again, all that language of the Jewish mentality is the temple will be restored, and again, life will flourish. Fruits, multiple fruits, rivers flowing. Again, that's that whole language. Because imagine, now jump to the gospel. Do you think that crippled man whom Jesus healed today, do you think he ever felt abandoned by God? Yes. 38 years he laid on that stone floor. And when those moments happen, when the doubts come, remember the promises of Jesus. I am with you always until the end of the age.